Hey everybody, I'm Belinda Wasser, also known as Rocket Girl. Today we're going to talk about who pays for what. When you're a virtual assistant, sometimes what happens with the software can be confusing. It might be difficult to understand who pays for which software in your client relationships. So today I'm going to go into detail about who pays for what. All right. So the first thing you want to do when trying to figure out if you're going to pay for the software or if your client is, I want you to ask yourself this question. Is the software needed to run their business or your business, right? So if it's the former, right? If it's to run their business, they pay for it. And if it's to run my business, I pay for it. I'm going to go into big detail about the differences here, okay? Because this I get asked this very often. This is not a silly question at all. It can be really confusing, okay? So here's the things that I pay for. So I pay for my email, Belinda at RocketGirl Solutions. I pay for that. My calendar, I have Google Calendar. I pay for that as well, no matter what I'm using to manage my own calendar. Project management software, I pay for that. And because I'm using that to manage my clients, but my clients are not using that software. It's just me. And we'll talk about the flip side in a minute. What makes the difference? Note taking. So I take notes when I'm working with my clients, and I use Evernote. Microsoft Office is something that every VA pretty much needs to have because a lot of work happens in those applications, and it's part of your computer. And then email delivery software, and that's for my newsletter, not their newsletter. And we're going to talk about why you want to keep all these things separate. And social media scheduling for my social media posts, but never for the clients. I shouldn't say never. There are some exceptions, but I want to talk about what those are, okay? And password management. I use LastPass to manage my passwords. And so even though I keep my clients' passwords in there, I keep my passwords in there as well. And all of these things on this list are for my convenience, my convenience to run my own business, okay? Now, I want to talk about what your clients are going to pay for, and it's some of the same things, but it's on their accounts. Okay. Whoops. You know what? This title's not right. So this is a list of things that my clients pay for. Sorry, I was rushing around. Okay. So clients pay for email accounts that you use for their business. So, for example, I have an email for several of my clients where it's Belinda at the name of their company. Even though that can be $6 a month, $10 a month, they pay for that with their credit card and give me access. Social media scheduling. Okay, so this is the one that's sort of the not never. Social media scheduling, I have each client have their own either buffer account or a Hootsuite account, whatever it is now, you can schedule in Canva. But I think it's easy to make mistakes, and also, if you're building a library of content, you don't want that intermingled with yours, because what if you decide not to work together anymore? You win the lottery, you close your business. It's going to be all tangled up. So even though I have access to 10 or 15 buffer accounts, my client pays for them. They have their own login, or we use the free version, but I don't mix them up. However, if you are a social media manager and part of your service is to provide that, that's different. But then you'll probably get something more robust like Meet Edgar that allows 25 accounts to be set up, because that's the thing too. You're going to bump up against those account limits if you're providing the software. Email newsletter. Now, think about this for a minute. You've got a free MailChimp account and you're using it for your own use. Now, let's say you have a client, and this has happened, who has a huge list. Your MailChimp account, how much it cost, It depends on how many contacts you have. So you don't want to be financially responsible for anything that could have a large number of contacts associated with it, right? Plus, that's really, it should be associated with their email address. Just keep it all separate. It's much easier. CRM software that is managing their business, and project management software. So here's where the difference is, and I want to make sure I'm clear. So I have project management software to manage my client work. So the client gives me the work, I put it in the client management software, I use it as part of my workflow. However, I have had clients that assign work to me in their project management software, and I get emails letting me know what they want me to do. They pay for that because it's not mine, and I don't share mine with them, right? Because we just want to keep those lines really clean between what's ours and what belongs to the client. And calendar management also. So if, for example, the same client that I have an email address for their business, I also have a calendar, and they pay for that as well. So it's pretty straightforward if you think about it. I think you're going to get the drift here, but it's just, ask yourself that question. If I didn't have this client, would I be paying for this software? All right, so, I made this its own slide because I want to be clear that clients don't know, right? So the first time a client comes to me and says, I want to do a newsletter, they have no idea all the steps, what we're going to use, how we're going to do that. So if they don't already have the software, you can absolutely make a recommendation. And here's how you get around that. You just, the money piece, you say, do you want to set up the account, or would you like me to? You can just give me your credit card. So it's just really clear, make the line simple. And clients have never really been surprised by that. I give them a couple options. I say, we can use Buffer, we can use this, we can use that. I'll get the prices for you if they don't already have that software. So I hope this helps. I know this is confusing, and I want to make sure that this is really clear, because it can be stressful thinking we have to pay for things for our clients when in fact we really don't. Okay, so before we go, I just want to invite you all to my free online classroom on Facebook. Just type the Virtual Assistant Connection in the search bar at the top. I'd love to have you. Our community is almost 11,000 people. It's growing by the minute. There are tons of videos like this in the group. I think this is something like number 90 something. So there's lots of videos like this, lots of articles, great help, great community, friendship, and I'd love to have you. Right now, we're streaming across multiple platforms. We're on YouTube, so click the subscribe button if you're there right now. Also, we're on Periscope. This is uploaded to LinkedIn. So wherever you are, if you have a comment, please just add it, and I'll be sure to circle back around and answer it. We're also on Instagram at the Virtual Assistant Connection. So I hope to see you again. Until then, I'm Belinda Wasser, signing off. Bye-bye.